And guys, we are here to have a show. We got to talk about the 49 and 53-man roster. I know Nick already did a breakdown with our guy, JD. Appreciate you guys for checking that one out, too. But there's been some changes to the roster, okay? The 49ers have updated the 53-man roster. They've updated the practice squad. We've IR'd some players, and we're here to break all of that down and talk about whether or not we think the 49ers are done. Now, before we get down to all the nitty-gritty, we have to go through the formalities. If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, guys. You're also going to turn on your notifications. It's going to let you know every time we do a live impromptu video, so that way you don't miss a thing that we bring to you here at Nothing But Niners. Also, make sure you check out the website. It is www.nothingbutniners.com. That is going to be your central location for everything that we do there, guys. We have articles written by a bunch of great guys over there. We have a page dedicated to the fans for photos. We see the emails coming in, guys. Make sure you send your photos to that email address, okay? It is nbniners@nothingbutniners.com. Make sure you send your emails over there with your game day attire on. You get some exclusive stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you send it to us. Boom, we'll post it up on the page so you can tell everybody I'm on the Nothing But Niners website. Also, you're going to see our social media pages, okay? Our Twitter and our Snapchat are Nothing But 9 ERS. All right, so make sure you give us follows on both of those pages over there. And last but certainly not least, we have our Facebook page and our Instagram. It is Nothing But Niners, spelled all the way out. Spaces in between, no numbers in there, and that's how we get down with the get down, okay? I am 49ers Mike _NFL. You guys know my man Nick. He is here today also. He is 49er Faithful 365 all day, every day. What up, baby?
All day, every day.
How you
3
doing?
days until actual football season is here. Cannot wait. And excited to talk about this 53 again with you and Tony. And also some of the moves that were made.
Absolutely, man. I saw you guys holding this down, man. Like, job. I was drunk at a wedding. There's no way I was participating in that one. My man Tony, too, man, NJ Niner fan 499. He's over there in the mix. Got the guns out. What's going on, Tony?
What's up, fellas? Mike, Nick, what's going on? Faithful, what's going on? Just a couple questions on this. Some of these decisions made on the roster and the inactivity during the waiver claim period. Looking forward to talking about it, getting into it. Let's go.
Absolutely. Now, Tony, before we get too much into this, man, is it possible for you to close that blind back there? People are they have trouble seeing you over there. Got a lot of sunshine coming on the screen. All right, so while he's doing that, guys, we're going to see, let's drop him back out really quick, and then we'll pop him back up when he's done. I see him over there. All right, so Nick, man, I saw you guys do the 53-man, and what were your initial thoughts on the 53-man roster, man? What were your initial thoughts when you all did it breakdown?
Initial thoughts was I was taken back by the whole 3 quarterback thing. Obviously not for reasons because I believe that Kyle would keep 3 because of his loyalty to that CJ Beathard. But then the biggest one was Demontre Moore for me was not making this team. He really had a big preseason. I know it looks to me, it's kind of like the whole Marcus Rush thing. Marcus Rush balled out in preseason and then nothing. And obviously Demontre Moore is not, practice squad eligible. So therefore he can't go on our practice squad. It'll be interesting to see if anybody picks him up. And if anybody doesn't pick him up, is there a chance for him to come back to the Niners? I really like this dude. He balled out. I thought that he had a good chance of making this team, but obviously not. And other than that, there really wasn't too many surprising cuts. I guess, you could look at Adrian Colbert as a surprising cut, but he didn't really perform this year. Last year he had injuries. This year's he had injuries. So that's pretty much it for me.
You were talking about Demontre Moore there, and, he was offered – I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this or not. He had opportunities to go other places, and he held out for the Niners. That's kind of messed up that they did that. I don't know what else this guy could have done to earn a roster spot here. He played with, a broken thumb? He wrapped it up and went out there and was still getting after it. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was really, really good for us. So that was one of my surprises as well, Nick. I think another one for me personally is going to be that we kept Toy Lolo. I didn't see us keeping 4 tight ends and signing another one to the practice squad. What do we need 5 tight ends for? So I don't want to keep going, but Tony, what about you, man? Did you have any surprises on the initial 53-man rosters?
Yeah, Demontre Moore. You guys just hit on it. He played his ass off. He had a pretty solid preseason, taped up the thumb, came in with the club, still continued to perform. It did hold him up from a couple sacks, though, in the last game. But, I mean, he was all over the field. He made tackles beyond the line in the run game. Another one you guys just hit on is Toilolo. Why do we need three tight ends? The only logic behind this that I could see is possibly that Trent Taylor's not going to play this week. Jalen Hurts questionable, so Tyler might come out with a tight end heavy package versus the Buccaneers, and then possibly move on from one of the tight ends to add another player to the roster. Hopefully DeMontre Moore, because they're really putting all their eggs in the basket with Ronald Blair as the backup pass rusher. So between the tight end, Cutting Moore, and three QBs, I mean, we addressed the safety issue, but that was a little scary. But that's all I got on that.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just it just seemed a little weird. The CJ Beathard thing, that I wish I could say it surprised me, but it is what it is. That love affair seems to be a thing. I forgot to say this at the start of the show, guys. Happy Labor Day, everybody. It's a holiday here, man. That's why we're all off on this beautiful Monday here in Jersey. Well, Pennsylvania for me, but you two are in Jersey. What are you guys doing today other than kicking it with us? What are you guys getting into?
I'm not doing anything. Chilling.
Yeah, Labor Day means nothing. I like that. Not nothing like you guys don't celebrate it. I mean, like we're getting to relax and stop doing stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm with that, man. Yeah, same here. I'm actually working today. I'm on call. I've already had a couple of calls, and I'm waiting to hear back from the hospital now. So I might have to go. I don't know what happened with Nick here. Can you see Nick?
No.
All right, I can't either. So that's really weird. Hopefully he bounces back in here. All right. So I want to find out, though, man, there were some changes to the 53-man roster already. These were expected. When we saw Kentavious Street make the 53-man roster, we had already known the 49ers wanted to IR him. So they give him the designation to return. And now Kentavious Street is no longer part of the defensive line group. So let's pull that up here. Now, instead of having 10 defensive linemen, there he is. Now, instead of having 10 defensive linemen, the 49ers are back down to just 9. Armstead, Blair, Bosa, Buckner, Dave, Ford, Jones, and Thomas. So my question to you guys is, were you happy with the move of IRing him to return? And were you happy with what we picked up to replace him with the roster?
You're talking about Kentavious Street?
Yes, sir.
Because I just jumped back in, so I don't know, it booted me for some odd reason. I mean, we haven't really seen. The sad thing about the whole thing is we haven't really seen anything Kentavious Street is about. We keep hearing how physically strong he is, baby Hulk type thing. But in the preseason, he didn't really impress me. So going on the IR for 8 weeks, I don't know what you're planning on getting out of that, or do you really see something that you like in this guy? So it's kind of a weird move for me.
Now this was he doesn't have to stay gone the whole 8 weeks, does he? I thought he can come back anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. No, that's work.
He could practice within that time,
but he can't participate for 8 weeks.
Correct.
So then that's why they didn't do that with Trent Taylor. Just going to let him sit on the sideline and take up a roster spot because they don't want him going for that long also.
Yeah. Wow. If you get designated, you have to sit out for those 8 weeks. Like Tony said, you can practice with the team when you start getting better, but you can't come back from the IR until that 8 weeks is up.
Sorry about that. Washing machine just went off. All right, so then we won't see him for 8 weeks, and then hopefully he shows us something. He was out there, and when you guys were looking at him, were you impressed? Did you feel like he did anything good? I mean, what's up?
Like I said, to me, it was nothing in preseason. There were other guys that stood out more than him. Like I said, with DeMontre Moore, Kevin Givens, some of these other guys that we put on the practice squad, especially Kevin Givens. Kevin Givens was in the backfield a ton. DeMontre Moore was in the backfield a ton. Justin Valaga. All these guys showed out more than Kentavious Street to me. So I don't know if it was his knee was bothering him, and that's the whole reason we put him on the IR, that we didn't see the explosion that we were looking for. It could very well be.
Now, Tony, we were talking about him before, and you said that he had a good game, right? Wasn't it like the first or second preseason game or something like that?
Yeah, he had a 1.5, maybe was it 1.5 or 2 sack game? I forgot who it was against, either Denver or Dallas. I forgot which one. But listen, I think he is in a tough situation right now because I don't think he's a good fit for the wide nine. Clearly, he's not a speed guy and a bend guy off the edge. If they make a decision, I think they wanted to try to hide him and stash him another year. And then they'll make the decision on Armstead. He's truly like an interior guy, maybe a big end guy. I don't think he's fast enough or agile enough to come off as a wide nine angle pass rusher. But it's a numbers game. I mean, you have multiple guys that play multiple positions on his. You got Buckner, Armstead, Thomas, DJ Jones, Sheldon Day, Julian Taylor, and then there's Kentavious Street. Even Ronald Blair could slide inside and play inside. That's why I was kind of shocked that a move wasn't made to unload maybe a Sheldon Day, a Julian Taylor, or even an Eric Armstead. There's nothing a knock against this guy. None of them. But if they were that high on him to try to get on the field faster, they would have to move another guy to get him on the field.
He freeze in the middle of talking? He definitely
To help with the tendonitis. So I mean, listen, he's out for 8 weeks. He can get his leg in better shape. They could bring him back in 8 weeks and see where they're at, or they could just keep him on the IR for the rest of the year.
You know what I like the most about this whole 8-week things for him is that I don't think he's 8 weeks of recovery away from being ready. However, that is 8 weeks to work on his style, his technique. And I think that's something that's going to benefit him. He looked kind of raw out there, is what Nick was alluding to. And I agree with him. He looked kind of raw out there. He didn't really seem to be I'm not going to say he didn't seem effective, but he looked like a rookie. He looked like a rookie in the NFL. And so for this being his second year, I know he's supposed to be as strong as an ox and all that stuff. We want to see him learn to use that power and leverage the right way. And so I think giving Kosuric some time where he can practice with him, you know what I mean? Give him some of those valuable reps and everything. Let him come back in 8 weeks and we'll see what happens with him. What's going on with McKinnon? How do you guys feel about that? I mean, he's done for the year, obviously. Were you disappointed to hear that? Did you think that it was going to take more than 8 weeks for McKinnon to get back? Why didn't they keep him on the roster and then do the same thing?
Because he's going to have another procedure done.
He has to, or did he do it already? Because
he's getting another one done to fix something mechanically with it to help him along. So they felt that 8 weeks was a little too short to bring him back this year, so they sat him for the whole year.
Now, we went all off season. We were talking about keeping 4 running backs. Do you guys feel like we need help and maybe should look to add another running back?
I mean, listen, it all goes on to health. I mean, my theory was before they made this final 53, you have to look at the roster that we have out of our running backs. Out of the 3 that we kept, Breida, Mostert, both sustained injuries during the season. They didn't play a complete season without missing game time, whatever. So that's where Wilson came into play. And I thought, honestly, in my opinion, he was showing he was producing in the system like he was last year. He worked on his ball control, ball security. He added a couple pounds. I thought if he hit the wire, he would have been claimed. He wasn't. They got lucky. I don't know why he wasn't claimed. But he's back on our practice squad. So if something does happen, we can pull him up. I don't think they're going to add somebody right now. But if one of these guys get nicked, he's coming up and someone's going off the roster because you can't depend on 2 guys that are not injury prone, but sustained injury last season and just roll your dice with just 2 running backs.
Okay. All right. So let's try to settle this right now. No pressure, guys. RB1 is who?
Coleman.
Breida.
I think I'm going to side with Nick here with Breida, man. I think, I understand that Coleman is the 2 yards here, 4 yards there, and then boom, there's a big one. Breida has that opportunity for a big one every time, but the times in between, it's not 2 yards or 4 yards. It's 6 yards or 8 yards. I think that Shanahan's going to run Breida out there with Coleman being the backup, the guy that gives him a break when he's winded. I'll see. We'll see, obviously, but I don't know.
The
I
reason
probably
why-
would.
Good.
I probably would have sided with Tony, but Tevin Coleman's vision looks horrible. His vision looks completely horrible. The times that he played in preseason this year, there were times that he had holes that opened either just to the left of him or just to the right of him, and he ran directly for contact. He's a guy who's gonna look for contact in the middle of the field, like between tackles. I don't know why, because usually he's very explosive, but I just seen way more explosiveness out of Matt Breida this offseason and this preseason. His catching ability, where he was lining up, things like that. And Mike, I'm not big on 1 and 2 running backs. It's just, I think Breida is going to get the bulk of the touches.
That's what I mean. Yeah, not so much who starts the game, but
until Coleman starts showing something else, because I didn't see any explosiveness from Tevin Coleman in that first game that he played. And you seen Tevin Coleman went out for a couple snaps, and then Breida came in, and he was getting yards, and he stayed in. And I think there was like 2 other plays that they brought Coleman in. But he'll get those short yards, and then Tevin Coleman, he'll get those short yards, and then he'll get one explosive play, like you were saying. And then Matt Breida is an explosive play every time that he's touching the football. I think he has an opportunity with his vision to get those explosive yards.
yeah, I think y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I know he won't get the majority of the touches, but I think Mostert probably has the best vision. Mostert is a very decisive back. He gets the ball and he goes, and it's 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's just the direction he goes. I really wanted to see what Shanahan saw in McKinnon, man. That's probably what my biggest gripe is with this whole running back situation. I want to see it. Everyone was like trying to convince me, like you didn't watch enough or you didn't see enough, and you got to see this, you got to see that. I really, really, really wanted to see it, and here we are waiting an entire season to see him again. If he has another injury or setback in next preseason, are we cutting him or what?
You have to.
I think the decision is going to be made April 1st once his option kicks in. And honestly, if he's having trouble after this knee surgery, more than likely there's something like I told you, Mike. We spoke about on the phone and through text. There's probably another underlying issue that wasn't reported by this team with that knee. It wasn't just a clean ACL tear. Because if you want to say it's a clean ACL tear, look at Quan Alexander. He has no problem. He's coming off an ACL tear. So I understand Jimmy's a different quarterback, a different position, but Jimmy had an ACL tear. No issues. Something was wrong. So there was further damage to that knee than what they were saying. But back to the Coleman Breida debate, I just want to say the reason, first of all, I don't think there's going to be a one running back. There's going to be a 1A and a 1B. And I think Kyle is going to ride the hot hand. Now, they're 2 different style runners. Coleman is a put your foot in the ground and cut up field. He's a one-cut runner. He's not going to look left and right, try to get and bounce outside. He's going to get up field. Breida, on the other hand, who has the better vision, and in my opinion, probably the best vision on this team, carrying the ball, he's more of like he's going to make his cut, but then he's going to look to his right or left and see if he could go outside. That's why I think it's more going to be like by the hot hand. Also, the one thing that I would put 1A Coleman over B Breida is Coleman's a better pass protector. When he's lined up in the backfield and he's got to chip the edge, or if they slide the protection to the left, he goes to the right and picks up that outside rusher. That's the one thing I think Coleman is ahead of Breida. But as a runner, or like a pure vision runner, I think Breida is the better running back vision-wise.
All right. I see what you guys are saying, man. I was thinking about this, and I think we've been going back and forth on who's going to be the number 1 guy, right? And there's different reasons for different people. I think it comes down to something Tony just mentioned. It depends on the hot hand. I think it's going to be determined by our opposing defensive line that we're playing against. If they get to the edge better, it's probably going to be a big day for Coleman and take advantage of the weaker middle. You know what I'm saying? If the middle of the defensive line that we're playing against is susceptible or more stout, then we're going to go and, try to use Breida on the edges. So I think it depends on the opponent more than it does the ability of our guy. So it's a good problem to have. And, we want that 1-2 punch. I've been waiting for the Niners to have something like that for a long time. Frank Gore was just so damn good that even when we had backups here that I liked, they weren't getting a lot of touches in the game. I was Kendall Hunter out. Like, that was my guy, little 32. You know what I mean? You guys heard in the preseason, that postseason speech or that locker room speech when we played the Saints, hit that little motherfucker, that little 32. We're going to get him. You guys know what I'm talking about, that bounty gate stuff. Like, they knew about him, but the team just didn't utilize him the way that, Frank was too good. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, so we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. So the other change that happened to this 53-man roster was at the safety position. Initially, we only kept 3 safeties. And then after we put Kentavious Street on IR, his roster spot became available, and they signed the other safety, Anton Exum. Now, this has been a topic of debate on 49ers Twitter. Some people saying, I can't believe it wasn't Marcel Harris and things like that. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. How did you feel about Exum's play? You can go back as far as last year. He played significant time for us on the field, and we saw him in the preseason. I mean, how did you guys feel about Exum out there?
You want to go first, Nick?
I wasn't impressed with him. I mean, that first run last week, his angle was horrible. Gave up, 44 yards on that run, that first run to the Chargers. Other than that, he hasn't really stepped up to me. I know Marcel Harris misses some tackles, but I think it's the way that he plays. He's fast. He's like instinctive. So he goes in fast. Exum isn't that brute, I guess I could say, like Marcel Harris is. So if I was to sit here and judge it off of being a brute, I love Marcel Harris more. But I don't know. Exum just didn't really impress me. I thought, with them listing Ward, let's see. With them listing Ward as a safety, I think that's where it kind of hurt them right here. Because we all thought Ward was going into the season as a corner because he was playing nickel, and how well Tarvarius Moore was playing safety. Then now you have Ward and Moore as free safeties and Tart and Exum as strong safeties. Or are you going to use Ward in the box more too? So it's kind of interesting to see what it is. But Exum, I wasn't very impressed with him.
Well, I mean, I think back to last season, and Exum was a physical presence out there. He might not be a hitter like Kawan Williams or Tart even. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, even Jimmy Ward brings a wood. These guys are going to get their opportunities to hit. But Exum is a hitter. He really, really is. And he plays with like I don't know what the word is. When he gets in his zone, he's a lot of fun to watch. I think he's an underrated guy because of how far down the depth chart he was and everything like that. But I was just wondering if maybe this team kept him like this because is Exum practice squad eligible?
I don't think so.
You get what I'm saying? So you can keep them both on your 53-man roster.
Well,
or you can put one on your practice squad and then get the other guy and don't take up a roster spot. So I'm wondering if that's why they did it this way. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you think?
I think this final 53s was done to cover injuries in the beginning of the season. So the original 53 only had Jimmy Ward, Tart, and Tarvarius Moore as the 3 safeties that were on the original roster. So now you have Sherman, Verrett, Kawan Williams, Witherspoon, Reed, and Mosley as your corners. We know Verrett is questionable for week 1. We haven't heard anything about Kawan Williams. So that's 2 corners right there. So now by doing this, they were able to keep those 2 guys on the roster along with the 2 wide receivers that were hurt. And they, in my opinion, they picked a better guy. It's not that I'm not a fan of Harris. I like Harris. I think Harris is a phenomenal inside-the-box safety. Phenomenal. He's a liability in coverage, though. Now, by adding Exum, you have the ability, and it all trickles back to the original. They want versatility in this defense. Okay, so now you're talking about versatile players. Exum could play both free safety and strong safety. Where if you decide to go with the Harris route, that's only a strong safety. So now if Kawan Williams isn't dressed, you're talking about Emmanuel Mosley or Jimmy Ward playing the nickel, the slot corner spot. So now that takes away depth that for one guy to cover both safeties in case of an injury. So in my opinion, they took the right guy with Exum, and they were still able to keep Harris on the practice squad. They were very lucky the way this offseason felt as far as the final 53 cut down with the players that they were able to retain on their practice squad. You had Lee, who were key contributors last year. Harris was a key contributor last year, and so on and so on. But those right now, being that we're talking about the position group, I just wanted to address them too. And I think they did make the right decision by keeping Exum because of the dual versatility. He could play both safety positions.
Okay. All right. I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I think I kind of like the idea of this mind manipulation or the roster manipulation of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Were there any surprises to you guys now? Nick, I know you probably already went through all this. Did you have any surprise players that you couldn't believe that they kept?
I would say I think I said earlier, Tuliolo. And, I'm surprised they kept three. I'm really surprised they kept three quarterbacks. I think they were trying to get something for C.J. Beathard. I mean, if you're going to tell me C.J. Beathard's the guy over Nick Mullins right now, after the way Mullins played last year compared to Beathard, there's something wrong. Clearly, they tried to play the bluffing game. It didn't work, so they retained him because now Kyle went out there and said, we're keeping three quarterbacks, whether you like it or not, blah, blah, blah. We have our three. So mainly I think it's Toyolo, the tight end. Why we need 4 tight ends? Like I said earlier, it could be a package thing that he has up his sleeve versus Tampa. But that's the only logic I make out of it. Everything else seems to be good as far as, like, we have on paper 3 tackles, 3 guards, 2 centers. You know, everything is covered. So that's the only thing that I don't understand is the 4 tight ends.
Yeah. The 4 tight ends, definitely a question mark. Like I said, I wish I could say that this freaking quarterback thing was a head scratcher. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I was surprised about. I guess Mark Nazalcha making it.
That's pure special teams, though, Mike.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's 100% special teams. But you don't think that the addition of Al Shire could replace him in the special teams front? You got Mostert.
Who would you rather go with then? I mean, right now we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 linebackers. Right.
Warner, Nazalcha, Greenlaw, and Alexander, and Al Shire.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you don't think that what Mark Nazalcha brings to special teams, you don't think you can get that from Al Shire?
I do. I do. But, I mean, honestly, if you asked me going into this, I would have liked to keep maybe a veteran linebacker, if we could possible, on that group, because besides Warner and Alexander, those guys have little to no experience as an NFL player. The only guy with experience is Nzocha, and he played in situational downs, like, you know, in base defense. Because, I mean, Warner's your starter from last year. He carried over. Alexander came from Tampa. Greenlaw's a rookie. Al Shahir's a rookie. Nazalcha was a package player / special teams player. So, God forbid someone goes down. Who's coming in?
Right.
On a like a long-term basis. There's no veteran presence in that linebacker core minus Alexander and Warner.
All right. I mean, I guess, it is what it is. What about you, Nick? What do you think about that? Did you think Nazalcha was replaceable?
You know what? I thought he was at first. Like, I really thought with his special teams value, I thought David Mayo was going to be taking over him going into week 4. But then week 4, Mark balled out and shown why he's supposed to be here. I mean, he had really good special teams that day, good tackles, had the interception, was good in coverage. I truthfully wouldn't be surprised if Mark Nazoko is the starting Sam linebacker to start the season.
Wow. That's all right. That's bold. I get it. I hear you. He was also out there playing with a lot of bravado. He was hitting people and flexing right away. I was like, okay, look at him. He was bringing energy, and that's what this has been about. It's happening since the acquisition of Quan Alexander. You can say what you want. I know some people don't like it and all that stuff, or they try not to credit Quan Alexander, but he has brought a swag to that group there, man. They really has. So, those guys are playing with energy. You can see it in Fred Warner. You can see it in Alexander, Mark Nazalcha. I've never seen him act like that before. Never seen him act like that. But you could tell that he was out there to have fun. And I think in the back of his head, he knew he was playing for a roster spot. I think that he was one of those guys that was decided on during that last game. And he was going to go out there and put it all on the line, and he was going to make sure he boasted every time he did something big. And I like that. I think, to me, that's taking care of that's taking the most advantage of your opportunity ahead of you. All right.
I mean, I don't want anybody to think that I don't like Dre Greenlaw with that bold statement, but I think Dre Greenlaw still has some work to do in coverages, things like that, where Mark is further along with this system than Dre Greenlaw is. Now, do I think Mark stays the starting Sam linebacker for the entire season? No. I'd probably look for him to get replaced maybe the game before the bye, maybe a game or two after the bye, to allow Dre Greenlaw to get to where he needs to be, a little bit more time in the system. But we'll see.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time we saw a guy start and the team works him out and puts the other guy in. We saw them do that even back when we had Rashard Robinson. I know I'm bringing up some bad juju here, but we had Rashard Robinson, and we saw them slowly work him out of the rotation and put in Akello Witherspoon. You know what I mean? They did that with linebackers last year also, and even in the year before that. The Bowman thing with Foster and all that stuff. They have worked guys in and out of that lineup. So, I can see what you're saying there, Nick.
And it's just a developmental thing. That's all it is. It's just don't rush the poor kid. He has talent. Don't put him out there to bust his ego. Playing in obviously, what is it, 7 or 8 weeks after being drafted, it's a little longer than that, but you know what I mean, with camp and everything. When don't get him nervous about his development. Let him develop, get more confidence in himself, the things that he needs to work on, and then let him come out and play.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm with you. I like it. Your thoughts on it, Tony? Who do you think is going to be the starting Sam?
I think, my opinion, not to go against you guys, I think it's going to be Greenlaw. I think it's going to be Greenlaw because of his what the hell? The speed, his speed ability. They're talking about this defense all gas, no brakes. Little plug there. But, playing balls out. I understand he bit on the play action a lot in preseason. It's got to be worked on. But look about it. Just look at it like this. The majority of this league, we're going to be in nickel defense. So he's not going to be on the field. That's just my opinion on it. So when we come out, I think you might see Greenlaw because they invested in this kid. They like this kid. They moved on from Malcolm Smith like this. So I think he's a step ahead in Nazalcha, in my personal opinion. But I just think right now his all-around game is better, even though Nazalcha does have more experience in this system. But his athletic ability, I think, supersedes Nazalcha.
Like I said, I definitely agree with you that he has more athleticism, but I just think there's more to Dre Greenlaw's game that needs to get better. I mean, if he's in coverage, he is not good. I can't even say that with I want to put a little bit of sugar on top of that to make it feel a little bit better, but Dre Greenlaw is not good in coverage. He bites really hard on play action every single time. He didn't get better as the preseason went along. You still consistently seen that. You didn't see that step up for me, and this is just for me. I didn't see that step up from him as into how bad he got sucked in week 1, week 2 getting sucked in again, week 3 getting sucked in again. You didn't see him learn from his mistake. And then in coverage, he's just not there. He just wasn't there. You saw more David Mayo going in coverage downs than Dre Greenlaw later in preseason. So that's where we all talk about, sending Solomon Thomas into coverage and things like that. Well, what's the difference if we have a linebacker who can't cover anymore?
Oh, you can't compare that, Nick. Oh.
I'm saying what's the difference of putting somebody in there that can't cover? What's the difference?
I think
here, I'll go back to this. We talked about this with Navarro Bowman.
Okay.
We talked about this with Navarro Bowman. Navarro Bowman clearly lost steps and was not good in coverage anymore.
Correct.
So he was getting consistently beat, and it was hurting the team.
Mm-hmm.
So why put Dre Greenlaw, who is a rookie, who you've invested all this in, and get his mentality screwed to go into the season? Why not?
I understand what you're saying. What you're saying.
Look, I'd rather Greenlaw start. I truly would. But I think for the development of the player, we have a guy who can cover and do those things, just not as good as in run game and things like that as a linebacker, speed, because Dre Greenlaw, what do he run, a 4.5? I mean, he's quick. Kid is quick. But I don't want to see them mess him up, his development up. And that's why I'm okay with Mark starting the season to start off, whether it's 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. Give him a little bit more time.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Nick. And I would like to see some of his skills refined, see him hone in on some of those things, just get the mental aspect of it down a little bit more. Physically, we know he's going to be okay. But you want to get the mental part of it, get that locked in first, or, let him hone that a little bit more, especially when you're going up against. I know people are ready to just write this as a win, but you're going up against Tampa Bay in that first week. Bruce Arians is a really good head coach, and he's going to have those guys out there flying around, man. They're going to be moving.
Just a quick update. Matt Barrow said Jason Verrett's new number is 27, and him and Kwan Williams are on the field for today's warm-ups practicing. So
that's
just
big.
saying that we just asked if we heard anything about Kwan Williams.
Right.
So Kwan Williams is back on the field during warm-ups, whether they're going to practice or not.
Yeah, the team kept them both in the 53. You have to feel like there's a level of comfort with wherever they were in their rehab. The team felt like they were going to get something from those guys and early on. So when I saw them make the 53, it's like, okay, we see something here. I do have a surprise cut for you guys that we haven't discussed yet, and that is Julian Taylor. How did you guys feel about that?
He didn't get cut.
He didn't get cut.
He made the team?
I sent you the thing and said you don't have Taylor on that list.
Julian Taylor made the team.
Yeah.
On what, the defensive lineman?
Yeah.
I didn't make it.
I know. I forgot to add him, and I sent you a private message and said you got to add Taylor.
Okay, all right. Well, now I'm not as surprised. So we have 10 defensive linemen then?
Yes, we have 10 defensive linemen.
Oh, you guys are killing me, man. All right, that's on me. I'll bite the bullet on that one. All right, so my man made it. That's what. Okay. All right. Well, now I feel a lot better. Boom. All right, let me go on a Julian Taylor rant. My man, no, let me stop. No, Julian Taylor's a good guy. I'm happy that he did make it, man. Like I said, I've been in and out of it, so I apologize for the confusion. My bad.
One other thing, another new number update. Azeez Al-Shaair is now in 51.
Oh, they gave him Smith's number? As soon as Smith left. I like it. Hey, what's going on, Ant? What's up, buddy?
Look at that.
Say hi.
Over here. Don't stand up.
Say hi.
That's a spitting image of Tony.
Say hi.
Say hi, buddy. What's up?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Shy.
Say
Look at that guy.
Say go Niners.
Go
Get
Niners.
out of here.
There you go.
Go upstairs, will you?
No.
Your underwear. Get out of here.
Right there, man.
So he's 51 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 51 now.
Well, that's a starter's number.
I'm tired of those numbers in the 40s for linebackers, to be honest with you.
Really? I'm not going to lie to you, man. I like Fred Warner 48.
I did too.
I don't know why. I don't know. Felt faster to me. I don't know.
Faster?
I swear it did, man. I don't know why. I don't know why, man. All right. What else we got here, man? Any other surprises here? Let me see. Adrian Colbert, not really surprised. I mean, he didn't show up. He needed to. Between injuries and performance, he just didn't get out there and show his value. So that was that. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that we might be missing or any other surprises. Let me look through this list again one more time here. Got the corners. My man Mosley, I was happy about that. These offensive linemen, man, guys, we're going to need some help. We are going to need some help. So that's going to take me to my last subject here. You guys think we're done with this 53-man roster before week 1 gets here? Not overall, because we know this thing is going to be ever evolving. We know that's going to happen, right? But before week 1 gets here, do the 49ers add anyone else? I don't want a name or anything, just maybe a position that you think, hey, we need a little bit more help here. They might be looking for someone.
I'd like to add a veteran for the offensive line. Brunskill, School. I mean, listen, School, I'm not a PFF guy, but if you look at PFF, he graded out pretty damn good this preseason. Believe it or not, I don't know how, but I don't know their math, how they come up with their numbers. But he graded out pretty good according to that. So, I mean, they saw something on it. Every time I saw him, the one play that I text you as soon as I saw it, he blew a guy 5-6 yards down the field and just flat out pancaked his ass. So, I mean, I think the kid versus the Chargers.
Yeah, that was on the Jeff Wilson Jr. run.
Yeah. I think the kid has potential, but I just think he's very raw. Very raw. And for him, like, on a top-notch college program, to only give up 1 sack in 1 year, I mean, he has something. I just think he needs to be refined, and he needs experience. But the only way you get it is you got to keep him on a roster, and you got to throw him in. But, I mean, the Brunskill kid, I mean, they have him listed on the site as 260 pounds. Where are you going 260 pounds as offensive lineman? I don't know if it's accurate or not.
I don't know, man.
But, I mean, Garland I like. He can back up both center guard. So I think if it comes down to an injury to one of the tackles, it's going to be a swing. It's going to be a toss-up. Like, either one of these guys are going to be active. It's either going to be School or Brunskill. But I would like, honestly, to add a more veteran guy with somewhat experience, like Khalil, who just got cut from – who did he get cut from? The Texans. But, I mean, maybe they feel he's better than what he has to offer, Khalil. So you want School to pack on a few pounds, huh? But you just said like that power that he showed in that one play. I think he froze. That power he showed on that one play was pretty impressive for a guy only 260. No, that was
talking about Brunskill.
I meant Brunskill is listed 260.
Some more weight.
Brunskill was listed 260. Schools is like 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", 315, 320. He's a bigger dude, and he shows the ability to get out and lead. But I'm just talking about an experience basis. Like, you know, you're making a playoff run. Hopefully we are. You're in week 13, you know, and you're in contention, and God forbid someone goes down. I'm not saying names, but God forbid.
Well, I'm going to say a name. Let's do this here. On a scale of 1 to 10, give me your level of confidence in Weston Richburg's ability to perform when we play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm going to go on the high side. I think he's ready. I'm not going to go 10. I say a strong 7, 7.5. I think he's going to be ready, Mike. That injury he had was a big injury, and I told you time and time in, you have a quad injury, that is your strength in your legs, and you cannot anchor in the pass pro. I don't give a shit who you are. It's amazing that he even played through that. But just putting Richburg in there alone just to control the line calls, I think this offensive line is going to take a step forward from what we saw in the preseason.
All right, Nick, what do you think, man? By the way, this is Shanahan's first time here with us, only keeping 8 offensive linemen. He only kept –
I think he kept 9 or 10 last year.
Yeah, 10. And I forget how many I had in my 53 prediction, but it wasn't the 10. And I said, I'm not going to just add names on here just because we need to get to 10.
You had 7. You had 5 guards and 2 tackles.
Yes, that's right. But I had School as a practice squad
guy.
And toss him down there. So basically they just kept him there. I did not have Brunskill until after Tony and I spoke, but I didn't add him in the show. and I think he was replaced by not Richburg, Garnett. I think I had Garnett making it. I don't remember if I had Garland making it. I know Tony was happy to see Garnett get out of here, man. He kept calling him wet toilet paper. He was soft.
Come on, bro. Are you serious? Look what DeMontre Moore just did. Fuck.
It's different, though. You're reacting with your hands. You don't know what's going to happen. Now, let me stop. Nick, man, 1 to 10. How confident are you with Richburg, man? This is going to be an important game for us, man.
Is this how confident I am in his ability to play the position or his ability to come back from injury?
It's kind of both. So, all right, so last year we heard a lot of how he didn't look good, but he didn't look good because of the injury that nobody knew about, this lingering injury, right? Well, we didn't get to see much of him, if anything at all. And now all of a sudden, boom, here comes week 1. Is he going to be our starting center or is it going to be Garland? So I want to know how you feel about him week 1. Do you think that he's going to come out there? And if he does come out there, it's going to be more improved than last year. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you give me a 10, that means he's going to be out there. He's going to be performing better than last year. You give me like a 5
in week 1. All right, so week 1, I'll probably stick around that 6 or 7 range. I do think he starts. I do think he'll be. I think him not playing this whole preseason doesn't really hurt him because he has that chemistry with Jimmy Garoppolo from years before. He knows the system. He knows the playbook. So I don't think that really hurts him. It's just a matter of coming back from that injury. But will I say he'll be better than he was last year? I hope so, because obviously he had a hell of an injury and was playing through it. Do I think he'll be better than that? Do I think he'll be way better than that week 1? No, I think he'll be average. And that's, to be honest, like, not playing, coming back from injury, not really seeing him for a while since the injury. But I'll give it like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 5. And to me, what that means is he'll be out there, but it'll be the same guy that we saw last year. I think he's got to work his way up from the injury. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to see much of the same that we saw last year, and hopefully that's enough. I wouldn't knock on wood, but I don't want to knock anything over here. But hopefully that's enough. What? The dog is like staring me in my face, just standing here looking at me. Sorry. All right. Anything else, man? I mean, I don't know, man. We did a nice little, 45-minute hour show here. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we get out of here? I'm trying to look at this list of the other guys that made it. I see some people really confident in Richburg getting out there. I see a 9.5. They think he's going to be out there and improved, man. I tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Garland got the start for week 1. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
You think so?
What do we have to say otherwise?
If he's practicing this week, I think he'll be playing.
Who?
Richburg.
He was practicing during preseason. He just didn't play, right?
Right.
Guess who else is practicing?
Everybody.
Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa.
Yep. Bosa's practicing.
And that brings us back to John Lynch's comment. Bosa is certainly in play for week 1. It's here. I got to get off of this thing. I'm about to start getting excited. I'm about to start getting hyped.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to do all that right now, man. We got some stuff going on. And I know our buddy wants to start a show also. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? What was I getting ready to say? Oh, my God, Nick Bosa's coming back. And I'm still the only guy that's worried about Bosa and Ford on the field at the same time and the difference it's going to make in the run game. I'm the only one still worried about that, huh?
I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. I really don't.
What do you mean, setting the edge?
I think we might take a step back in the run game as far as how this team looked in preseason. This team, I know that there were a couple of big runs, and that was like a blown coverage type of thing, or you know what I mean? This team did a really good job this preseason in the run game, and it was all from depth players on the edge. There was no Ford, there was no Bosa out there. Those guys were holding it down for us. These guys haven't done it. They haven't. Bosa hasn't done it as a professional. Ford hasn't done it in this Y9. Well, they did some of it over there in Kansas City, but he hasn't done it yet for us in this system. And I'm worried about the potential step back just in that aspect, not getting after the quarterback in the run game. When we get out there for week 1, I think it's a lot to just be like, all right, you guys haven't done it yet. Let's go. Live action right now. Let's go do it. Not concerned about it at all?
Like I told you before, man, these guys' mechanics are just insane. I mean, you can go back to saying that, he hasn't done it as a professional, but Nick Bosa was one of the better run stoppers in college. So I can't take that away from him. Now, will I sit here and say that he might not take a step back in his personal agility because he hasn't played, getting up to where he needs to be with play, like with the speed and things like that from the game? He may, but do I think the team is going to take a hit? Not really. Same thing with D Ford. I mean, D Ford's a professional. Like, these guys know. I really think that, I think the biggest thing on it for me is Bosa. I'm a little bit worried about Bosa because he hasn't played in the regular speed of an NFL game yet. But do I think that's going to affect him in the run game? No. He's a perfectionist. He is a hands and foot technician. Like, he plays the ball well. D Ford, the only reason I'm really not worried about him is because the Los Angeles Rams have gone 2 years without starting any of their starters. They're professionals. They train. They know what they're supposed to be doing. So that's why I'm not worried about D Ford. Nick Bosa, just because he's never played the speed of the game, I think he may take a little bit of a step back, but it's not to where you're going to notice anything that's a big difference. I think, if anything, he's better than what he's going to give us at least more than what our reserves gave us, even being out for the entire preseason. That's my thought on it.
All right. I hope you guys are right, man. Bring some calm to my soul. I hope you're right. JD is in here. He's hyped up. He says he also cannot wait for week 1, fellas. Like, let's get it. It's time. It's here, man. Thursday night, I'm on call, so I got no reason to be anywhere except home. Hopefully nobody calls. Watching some of this Packers and Bears game. I'm ready to get after it, man. I know JD wanted to do a show soon. I saw the tweet, so I'm looking to get over to his channel also. So thanks for checking it out and sticking with us for so long, JD. I appreciate it, man. Guys, I got nothing else, man. You guys are trying to calm my fears. I appreciate it. One last quick question. The wide 9, is that going to be done on both sides, or is it only going to be Ford?
I think it's going to be, to start off with, like first, second down, it's going to be Ford side. I think if it's 3rd and long, it's going to be both sides. It's going to be situation. Because if you line up in a wide 9 first down, there's a very strong shot you're going to get gassed in between the tackles. But I think we have a pretty solid interior, and we have 2 linebackers that could fly. So I think it's all going to work. It's all going to work together. I mean, pretty much last year we came out in a wide 9 with the one side. Now with Kosaric, I think 3rd and long, they're going on an angle and pinning their ears back, and they don't give a shit. They're playing to run to the pass, and that's it.
All right. Nick, you agree?
I don't think we're going to see the wide 9 as much as people think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see it just a tad bit more than we saw it last year.
It's going to be in pure pass rush situations. Pure, like straight up.
I mean, we used it last year. It's not like – I just think there's more – I think there's more talent to utilize it more, what we have on this team this year compared to what we had last year. But I don't think we're going to see like a massive thing of wide 9. Like, I think like what Tony was saying, I think it's going to be situational. I think it's going to be on some passing downs. And I think we're going to bring different things. Like, that's just, to me, I just can't wait to hear all the Robert Saleh haters stop hating.
That's exactly what I was going to get to, man. I can't wait for Robert Saleh to go ahead and unleash this defense the way he wants to. That guy has been cooking. I'm telling you, he has been cooking. He gets so much crap, and he hasn't had any of the weapons. He's got them all now, baby.
Just no more zone drops, please. That's all I ask.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You have to do something. You have to do that sometimes, but it's okay.
Well, if they're going to drop, let it be D Ford and not Solomon Thomas or Nick Bosa, please.
You want D Ford going after the quarterback. He said it. He's got one direction to go here. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It really, really is. I can't wait, man. He's gonna get after it. His scheming, the exotic blitzes that he's been doing and things like that. I thought he showed a lot in preseason, and I know that Shanahan has this mentality of if you're showing it in preseason, it's not likely to work in the regular season. That's Shanahan's mentality. So I can imagine that's the message he's echoing through to the rest of his coaching staff, right? So what the hell are they working on for the exotic blitzes during the regular season? Oh, I can't wait. All right.
I want to answer this question. Let's see what you guys think about this. Who will Tampa target on our defense?
If it's anything like last year, Richard Sherman. They ate Richard Sherman's ass up last year. And you can say they didn't, but Mike Evans, Richard Sherman was not a good matchup. It wasn't. And they had that guy Godwin also out there, if I'm not mistaken, the little speedster, right? Isn't that what his name was? He was out there too making moves. Jameis Winston, I'll be honest with you guys, he showed no fear of the name Richard Sherman. He went after him. And if I'm them, that's probably what I would do also. Continue with the same thing. But this is Bruce Arians, man. He's a smart guy. I can't wait to see what's happening. I'd
probably agree with you on it, but as bad as their offensive line is, I don't think they're going to have time to hit anybody to the outside that fast. It's good. Look for a lot of slants. Look for a lot of slants and a lot of checkdowns.
For what, Tampa's offense?
Yeah.
So then who do you think they're going to target then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if it's slants, obviously it's going to be the corner.
Martin is out you?
No, Kwan Williams. Or it'll be one of the linebackers.
I think they should go after Kwan Williams.
They might even go after Quan Alexander because they know a little bit. Well, Arians doesn't know anything about him, but they know a little bit about him.
What do you think?
Huh? Go ahead.
I was asking Tony what he thinks. Who do you think they're going to target?
I'd say Kello.
Who?
I think of Kello if he starts.
Man.
And Jason Verrett starts, I think they're going to try Jason Verrett.
If Jason Verrett starts, I'm not. Nope, I'm not going to say it.
Go ahead.
Jason Verrett better not start.
Okay.
Jason Verrett better not be a starter. There's no way, bro. There's no way. There is no way Jason Verrett should be a starter. There's no freaking way.
I think it's going to help.
I said the same thing about Jimmy Ward, and you're like, nope, he's going to start last year. He'll play. Didn't even play all preseason.
Because you could see that their favoritism for him. We've seen it for every staff here. We haven't seen favoritism for Verrett here.
Yes, we have. He's on the 53 and he's been injured the entire preseason. He's been injured the entire preseason. He's not a rookie that you drafted in the first round. He's a guy who hasn't played more than 5 games in the last 5 years or 3 years, whatever it is. There's some kind of favoritism there. And you heard John Lynch. We like what we've seen Verrett and his ability of, and once he's done this ankle injury, he's going to be in this competition. I wouldn't be surprised, man. I really wouldn't be surprised.
In all seriousness, I think they are going to test Sherman, though. I think they're going to try Sherman. But I think with our pass rush versus their offensive line, it's not going to go good. Because that offensive line struggled bad, even versus Cleveland.
They got 8
So, I mean, in my opinion, if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm salivating right now. Like, I want my guys pin their ears. Let's go get them, and let's build some more swag on this defense other than what Kawan and Fred Warner are showing us. Throwing Sherman, this team could put a chip on their shoulder if they have a lot of sacks this game. I'm telling you.
This is the reason they were successful against Sherman last year is because there was no pass rush.
Exactly. And
there
now
was
it's different.
No pass rush. He had all day, and Sherman is going to be a liability deep because he didn't have that speed. He's never been a speed guy. You know what I mean? And then and Mike Evans is like he's a basketball player out there. He's going to box you out. He can outsize Richard Sherman. He can out physical Richard Sherman, right? So that's what we're going to see. But I'll tell you this. If you're testing Richard Sherman this year and you're forced to get the ball out quickly, that's when he makes you pay. That's when Richard Sherman takes advantage of you not having any time, jumping the route, and then taking it to the house. Like, that's what you're going to see. So be careful.
Well, and that's why I agree with you with Sherman, but I don't think we'll see it because, like I said, their offensive line, they're not going to have time to get the ball up to Mike Evans. If anything, thinking about this with Tony saying Ahkello Witherspoon, he might be onto something because Ahkello Witherspoon plays 10 yards back every snap. He doesn't play press. He does not come up on the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be a quick, 5 yards and turn around and get the ball. It really could be Ahkello Witherspoon. They really could pick on him, to be honest, thinking about what Tony was saying.
Here he is.
Take that down. We don't want to get flagged. I don't know. That looks good, though. My man Bosa out there.
Yep.
He's just
Screw the
coming.
flag.
He's coming, man. He's coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. We get pressure on these guys. I don't think there's going to be a lot of options to test anybody. They're going to look for the soft cushion there, Nick. You're right. Because if there's pressure, that's what you got to go for, the quick outs. You know what I mean? But Ahkello's got to be smart, or whoever it is on the outside. Even if it is Verrett, you got to be smart. You can't let these guys get that kind of cushion if you trust your pass rush to get there early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might want to see.
We talked about that before. That's something that worries me with Ahkello. Like, he does not play any press whatsoever. He's always off. And with a pass rush, that's just giving your quarterback a place to go with the football. So that'll be interesting.
Just a quick question, guys. I'm just on Twitter, and Nick Wagner just tweeted out only 2 people not participating in practice today: Trent Taylor, Jalen Hurd. So with that being said, more than likely these 2 are probably not going to be active. Who's the slot wide receiver?
Richie
James.
Richie, or do they slide Pedersen, or maybe give Marquise a shot inside and put maybe Debo outside, or the opposite guy outside?
I have an answer. I just didn't know Nick wanted to go first.
I'm going Richie James in the slot, Goodwin outside, Debo outside.
You got Pettis on the sideline?
Yeah.
Let's go, Nick.
Wow.
Let's
go.
go.
Receiver set, I'm going Debo and Goodwin.
That's bold.
Wow. Happy freaking Labor Day, man.
Roast me all you want. That's what I'm going with.
I'm not roasting you. I'm saying hey, that's cool, man. That's cool. If it's me, I'm going to try something that we haven't seen yet. I wouldn't have Richie James out there. If it's me and I want to, like I said, I want to try something. Personally, I'm going to do a good one in the slot with Pettis and Samuel on the outside. I would like to give the league something that they haven't seen yet. So that's
on film.
Yeah, it's not on film. That would be my thing. You give Marquise some space to get around. He's a decent route runner. He's got the speed to stretch the defense, and you suck your safeties into the middle of the field, making it easier for the guys on the outside also. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Marquise is going to get the respect off of the rip. So Marquise gets tired or winded, or after his first or second tackle and needs to sit out a couple of series, then you go ahead and put Richie James out there. Then you know what I mean. But Nick,
I think Richie James deserved to play from this preseason, man.
Oh, he's going to get it. Absolutely. Oh, I'm with you. Richie James look good. You know I'm a Richie James guy.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be active. I can tell you that.
What's that?
He's definitely going to be active.
Yeah.
Down. So
yeah, he'll be out there for sure.
I just want to see Debo in the red zone, bro.
We're going to get –
That's what I want to see.
You think we get any 4 wide receiver looks?
Oh, yeah.
Not physical wide receivers.
But not physical wide receivers. I think there's going to be running back receivers.
Why can't we do 4 wide receivers? Why can't we do 4 wide receivers?
Well, because 4 wide receivers also opens up for more for pressure, because they usually bring 6 and you only got 5. Normally there's always an open guy with 4-man sets, and that's why I said with Arizona they run so many 4-man wides that it just opens up that line for blitzing. And that's what Kyler Murray's going to have to deal with, because they run a ton of 4-man.
Who's that? Arizona. Tampa Bay.
What's that?
You said Tampa Bay?
No, Arizona.
Oh.
I said Arizona runs a ton of 4-man.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray's going to be whatever, but I just don't think we do a lot of 4-mans, because even in our simple route runnings, it's so confusing how he does it with the 3. Usually they're either 5 to 10 yards apart, running almost the same type of route. It's just very confusing with what Kyle Shanahan does. But I'm telling you, man, I want to see Debo on the outside. I want to see Debo and Goodwin on the outside.
I want to see Debo getting end rounds, the tosses to him, just let him get in space. I want to see Debo just snap the ball, take a step back and grab the ball. Boom. Like just Debo is going to be a lot of fun this year. I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 this year.
I hope so.
By season's end, I agree with you.
Yeah, I had a lot of hope for Pettis, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. I know his ability. I know Pettis' ability. He can be special, but he's got to be ready for it, man. He's got to be ready for it.
Do you think he starts week 1?
Pettis?
Like, yeah,
I think so.
This team has like these loyalties of people that we just talked about it. You know what I mean? We talked about the loyalties of Jimmy Ward. Didn't take a single snap the entire preseason. Boom, here he is. They like Pettis more than they like Jimmy Ward. They do. Kyle Shanahan has been beating this dude down at the microphone.
All right, let me ask you this, and we'll take notes, and we'll write it down, and we'll see. Who do you think gets more snaps in the entire game? Just a guess, and I know it can vary because of matchups.
Of course, let's have some fun.
But who do you think gets the most snaps, and how do you think it goes? Like, who do you think? So I'm going to say Debo.
Are you talking about wide receivers?
Wide receivers. We'll do wide receivers today. We'll do running backs on another show.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with D. I can't think of a reason he's got to come off the field. He's gonna be good in red zone.
Just give me the top 3 of how you think it will go with snaps. We'll do it that way. We'll do top 3.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Debo, Pettis, and then Goodwin. You writing this down?
Yeah.
Write this shit down. Look at this.
Debo, Pettis, Goodwin is Mike. All right, Tony, what do you think?
Shit. I think Debo. I think Pettis. And I think Taylor when he comes back from injury.
No, well, this is week 1. Just week 1.
Week 1. Oh, yeah, good one. Definitely.
So same for my pen right
Yeah.
now.
Definitely for week 1. But in the long run, I would say Taylor. Because remember what they said. They want to lighten the load on Goodwin. But due to injury, they can't in the first week.
Are we doing wait? The special team snaps count? Are we gonna look
just wide receiver snaps? Just
No,
wide receiver.
wide receiver, offensive snaps. That's it.
All right, because I was gonna say I saw somebody say special teams in here, and I know Richie's gonna be on special teams and all
I'm gonna
that.
shock the hell out of y'all.
I'm
gonna shock the hell out of y'all.
He didn't say Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne. He's gonna throw Kendrick Bourne in there. I know he is.
I'm going Debo, Goodwin, and Bourne.
Let's go. Nick coming around, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Dude, I think Bourne might get more snaps than Pettis week 1. Do I like that? No, but I think that's the truth. But we'll see. So you guys have the same. And I have Bourne beating out Pettis with snaps.
I just can't. Shanahan is really trying to build some confidence with this young man. And I can't see him trying to build this guy's confidence by saying, hey, go sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They did it with Akello.
Yeah.
They did it with Akello.
But that wasn't Shanahan. That was the defensive coaches.
Well, Shanahan, that's Shanahan's part too. Because
but the offense is remember, Shanahan played wide receiver at the University of Texas.
Right.
And he's hard on his wide receivers. Remember that.
He already said it about Pettis. He said, Pettis is going to make this team. We're just trying to figure out where his role is.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. But he said he could be our number 1 wide receiver. He could be our number 1 kick returner. Like, he's got endless potential here. You know what I mean? Like, this is – I think Pettis is going to be all right. He's going to be out there.
Pettis will be fine eventually. I just don't think his mindset is there right now.
So you think week 1 is going to be a step back. At what point – all right, so you don't think he's going to be a starter? You don't think he's wide receiver?
Technically, like I said before, I don't really go with starters.
No. I mean, like, do you think that he's always on it? Well, obviously, you don't think he's always on the field. You don't think he's wide receiver 2? Who were your 3? You said
Debo, Goodwin, and James. My 3 have snaps, most snaps.
Right, but if we come out in a 3 wide receiver set, who are they going to be for you?
I'd probably go Debo. If we go 3 wide receiver sets, I'm going Debo, Goodwin. and probably James in a 3 wide receiver set.
Wow. You're disrespecting my man Pettis. All right.
Look, I want him to be
Debo, Bourne, and James.
No, Debo, Goodwin, and James.
All
You
right.
got speed on one side, you got physicality on the other side, and you got a guy who can
do it all.
Yeah,
I understand the logic, and I think our wide receiver core is really being slept on, even by our own fans, the 49er fans. I think that they are really underestimating how good some of these wide receivers can be. Because they're seeing the small doses, you know what I mean? Or when they have a good game, they write it off as, oh, that was just a preseason game, or that was just this. The wide receiver has to run the route, he has to catch the ball, and do something with it afterwards, right? That's their job. You can't sit here and say, oh, they did it against this guy, they did it against that guy, and all that. They played the game. That's it. And you can't look at a one-off game. Oh, well, he had 100 yards, but it was for one game. You stretch that shit out over 16, that's 1,600 yards. Like, we got to stop writing these guys off. You know what I mean?
You need 61 yards a game to get over 1,000 yards.
Like, that's what give these guys a break. Like, people don't think that way. You know, they want to see 200 yards in one game, and they're like, okay, he's here now. He arrived. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun.
There's one difference that Pettis doesn't have that everybody else on this team pretty much has, and that's yards after catch in receivers. Pettis doesn't have that. He does when he's in open space.
Right.
He doesn't when he needs to break one single tackle.
We saw a lot of that.
Trent Taylor's the same way. Taylor's the same way.
We saw that about Richie James also. I think it was preseason 2. I think it was. He didn't have a lot of yards after the catch. I'm pretty sure it was the second preseason game. One of those games he had like 66 yards in the game. Richie James.
Yeah, he had 4 catches, 66 yards, but there was a couple that he had like 6 snaps behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
That game we're talking about. Out of like the 9 catches he had.
Yeah, and it was he just didn't get a lot of yards after contact. He didn't get a lot of yards after contact that game. And people were like, oh, he's got to go. He's not doing anything with the ball. I'm like, look at the routes they're asking this guy to run. Like, he's not going to get a ton of yards when he's catching the ball that far behind the line. So, but it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have.
Like I said, I hope I have all the faith in Pedersen getting back to what us fans expect him to be. But right now, I just don't think he deserves, with what guys have shown in preseason, to come out. I think he needs to work his way back there and start that. But I'm sure if Pettis' groin injury, I'm sure he'll be the starter. Him and Goodwin will be the outside guys, and Debo will fill in. But I'm hoping that I don't want to see that. I want to see you didn't earn this. Like, sit down until you earn it. Like, that's what I want to see.
Tony, do you want to jump in here? I got one more thing to say about it.
Oh, I understand everything you're saying. It makes sense. I mean, what did he do in the preseason? He did nothing. But,
he had opportunities too.
He did. You're 100% right. He was open. Ball hit him in the hands and it falls to the ground. But you got to remember something. When a guy's struggling, in my opinion, you do something like that and like not dress him or not play him, that's only going to bury his confidence. This guy his confidence needs to be built back up. Because clearly he has the potential. Look at the Seattle games last year. But my honest opinion, I think Kyle is putting a little too much pressure on him, and he can't handle that much pressure. He's our number one guy. He's this. He's going to be the center of the offense. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Let the guy go. Let him play. Let him do what he does best. You got multiple weapons now on this offense. And it's odd because Kyle never said he wants a number one receiver. But he's putting the pressure on his kid.
And I think this is what I was going to say.
He did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Kyle didn't say anything about a 1. He did say Pettis can be a 1, Pettis can be a 2, Pettis can be a 3, Pettis can be a 4, Pettis can be whatever he wants to be. He has that ability. So it wasn't like specifically saying, hey, you're going to be a number 1 receiver. But
you're right.
I thought he said he could be a number 1 receiver, number 1 kick returner, and all that. Now, I don't know if he meant number 1 as far as total yards or like wide receiver 1, but I thought that's what he said in his latest spiel. But what I was going to say was, I think he's putting all this pressure on Pettis so people don't think about Debo too much. I think Shanahan can't wait to put Debo out there on the field, man. I really think that's what it is. I swear to you, I think that's what it is.
I don't know because
this is a good segue, Mike. Go ahead, Nick. But that's a good segue. What I'm about to say to you. Go ahead.
I don't know about that because, I mean, Debo didn't really take a whole lot of snaps in the offseason with the number ones with Jimmy Garoppolo either. So that's where it's like, if you really wanted to look for that, you would want to see that connection with them too, as in getting them acclimated to each other. But, dude, I hope Debo's the number one on this team.
Go ahead, Tony. What were you going to say?
Kyle did one thing this preseason with Debo Samuel. One. And it stood out. He did it with the number one unit. He did that jet sweep. That's on film. Debo lines up in the slot. Team's got this in the back of the head. Because he what did he get, 30 yards on that?
31, yep.
Okay. That's on film. So now defensive coordinators know this kid's going to be a part of a package. It's going to bring everybody up, to watch him more. And someone's going to get behind that secondary if it's a fake. He doesn't have to hand it off. He could just do the action. There you go. Fake to you. Boom.
If I'm the coach, you know what I'm doing? You guys will probably laugh at this. But I'm using that same play and having Goodwin on the one side and reversing that shit back the other way from Debo. Goodwin's going.
Yeah, but that's what he does. That's why I said it. He puts stuff on film in preseason for people to study. And he said if it's successful in preseason, it probably won't be. The reason it won't be is because they're preparing for it. Like this.
Could you imagine, though, doing a reverse, having Debo come one way and get the ball on an end sweep and then giving it to Goodwin to go back the opposite direction?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the play it's going to be. Debo's going to line up in the slot. Goodwin's going to line up outside.
On which side, though? Opposite side of?
Opposite side.
We'll say no. I'm going to say the same side. It's going to be twins to the left. So Goodwin's on the line. He's in the slot. The quarterback's on the center. Garoppolo's going to fake it. You're going to see Debo come right around the back. He's going to fake it to him, and then you know who's flying down the seam, right?
Goodwin, play action.
All day. And you want to know why? It was only because of that one play in the preseason. It showed it. It was successful, and it's on tape. And that's it. That's Kyle. He's a head game guy, man. Like you said, he does shit for a reason.
I'm getting hyped. This is going to be so much fun this year. This is going to be so much fun this year, man. I pray. All we need is decent offensive line performance. Just decent offensive line performance. And Jimmy had some time back there with reserves going against starting defensive linemen. Garland wasn't half bad. He had some time back there. I think the first game was, all right, the boys got whooped up a little bit. Jimmy didn't have a ton of time. That second
but they played their starters, Dallas.
Yeah.
For a long part of the game.
That second game, third game, Jimmy had some time, man. He had time back there in that pocket. He was looking comfortable. He started the first series. It was pretty bad. Get his legs up under him, though. And then he was throwing some shit right in the breadbasket, boy. He was delivering some nice stuff, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
I got two more questions for you and their own predictions, and I want to ask you this. The 49ers have had 3 turnovers in the preseason, meaning we've gotten 3, which is more than we had all of last year. Do you think we supersede what we did last year? This is a 2-part question. Do you think we supersede what we did last year this year? More than 2 for the regular season?
Well, 2 interceptions. We had 5 turnovers, right? Just 2 interceptions?
No, I think we only –
No, 2 interceptions, 3 – yeah,
3 turnovers.
5 total.
Yeah.
5 total turnovers. 2 interception, I guess 3 fumble
and 3 fumbles, fumble recoveries or whatever they were. So let's just go with that 5 total turnovers. We won't go interceptions. We'll go with the total 5. I was going to ask you interceptions, but we'll do all 5. Do you think that the team will supersede that? That's the first part of the question. And do you think we get any turnovers, and how many in week 1?
They better supersede it. That's number 1, with the money they invested. And number 2, I say we get at least one interception. At least one. I think with that offensive line, with our pass rush, Ford and Bosa fresh, they get one pressure interception. They come flying off the edge, and he just heaves the ball up. And I'm not talking about the ones that get batted and they hang up in the sky for like 20 minutes and someone can run under it. I'm talking about a pressure interception.
All right.
You want to take a guess at who it'll be? Just for shits and giggles?
Williams. If it's an interception, it'll be Quan Williams. That's my guess.
You think so?
I think so. They're going to force the ball out fast across the
Tony,
middle.
I can read your mind right now. I know who you're going to say. Just say it.
Oh.
No, go ahead. I know you're going to
say it, because I'm thinking of two people right now, but go ahead.
You're thinking of two people. I'm going with Quan Alexander.
He was one of them, but I'm thinking Kentavious more in a nickel. If they decide to go, if Quan Williams isn't active and he's not 100% this game, and they put Jimmy in the slot, I think more.
All right,
Mike, what do you think?
My first answer is yes, absolutely. We're gonna beat the 5 total turnovers, 100%. As far as this game, I think we're only going to get 1 turnover, and I don't think it's going to be an interception at all. I don't think it's going to be when their offense is on the field. I think it's going to be in punt return coverage. I think Wisnowski is going to do one of those little flobbly shits, and it's going to bounce off of someone's chest, and our guy's going to be right there to recover it. Not to say that we aren't going to have I do think we're going to have opportunities to catch some interceptions, but I think that we see us drop a lot of interceptions. I think it's going to continue for a little bit, and they'll work on that later on. But I think it's going to be on the special teams. I think we get it.
Hey, I'll take any turnover.
My gut would. I promise you guys, if it was anyone but Bruce Arians with Jameis Winston, I would say Winston's going to turn the ball over. Winston is going to turn the ball over because I think Shanahan forced him to a shootout. He gets careless with the ball, but that's not how Arians operates. Arians is not going to let him be super careless. Not to say that he won't do it throughout the entire year, but that's just how
I agree with you. But when you have a poor pass blocking offensive line and you have a defense that could apply pressure, it's not a good mixture. It's not a good match. You know what I'm saying? I think Debo. I think Jameis Winston's going to be forced to get rid of that ball a lot quicker than he wants to. Now the question is our mid-level defense in position to make a play on that ball? Because it's going to be fast. If Ford is as fast, his first step is as fast as everyone says it is, he's going to be back there fast, man. And James is either going to step up or he's going to unload that ball quick, and shit's going to happen.
I'm going to go with a strip sack.
I can see that. Definitely.
I'm going to go with a strip sack, fumble recovery, and I'm also going to go with the interception with Quan Alexander. Those are my 2 this weekend. Strip sack, interception with Quan. D Ford will be the guy doing the strip sack, though.
I can see that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
How about if it's Bosa? How about if it's Bosa come flying off the edge?
If Bosa gets a strip sack, fans are going to lose their minds.
I'm one of them.
You know what's going to be worse than the fans losing their minds? It's going to be the people who were hating on him getting called out about him. It's going to be all the people who were like, it was a good pick, and listening to everybody say, Bosa sucks, he's injury prone. He's going to get that sack, that strip sack, and then it's going to be, boom, what I tell you, where y'all at? The receipts are coming out immediately. Okay, it's time to go.
I love it. I love the joke in there.
Look, he went and got the.
You got that already?
Hey Bosa, are you gonna get any turnovers this weekend?
Look at him.
My man.
We could have had him there the whole time. Holy shit.
What would you do if Solomon Thomas got a pick 6?
I'd die.
I'd die. Solomon Thomas down the field in coverage on a running back. Boom, intercepts it and takes it 42 yards for a touchdown.
I don't even think he'd make it 42 yards. I don't know. Solomon Thomas can actually run, to be serious. Yo, I'm dead, bro. He literally bounced his head, yes and all. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
I got to go. My wife has been a prisoner of the bedroom for too long, so I'm going to jump off of here. You guys keep going if you want, but I got to get going, man.
First, anybody want to see my dyed hair?
No, no one wants to see your dyed hair. Move it, kid.
I want to see it. Let me see it.
Down, they want to see your dyed hair.
Hey, let me see.
Look down so you can see. Got the blue.
Okay. All right, D. I like it.
Hey,
Say nothing but Niners.
nothing but Niners, but in blue version.
What?
In blue version.
I don't know what I said.
All right, man. Let's get up out of here, guys. Well, at least I'm getting up out of here. You guys keep going.
No, I got to jump off too.
Look at this. Tony's got all the stuff over there.
Is that a 49ers school? Oh, yes, that is.
That's awesome.
Straight from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Bashar says, "Sing all gas, no brakes."
Stop it.
Ooh.
Niner said no. Guys, real quick, like I said before in the last show, I know I seen whatchamacallit in here was saying Zach was saying he'll see me this weekend. I'll be at Tampa this weekend, so if you guys are coming to the Invasion, hit me up. Probably try to do a live show also right from the Invasion. That's at 912 North Franklin Street in Tampa. Check it out. It's from 2 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. So if you're coming, bring the heat. He's singing it. Mike's singing it in the background now. Real quick question. Who gets the first sack of the season? I just want to know who you guys think.
It's going to be a blitz. Quan Williams.
I think Quan's playing.
Yep.
Starting right off. Love it.
You're going to throw him out there. Tony's got his answer right there.
Tony, that's your answer?
If I do it, I don't know, man. I hope so. I think you're only going to see him in pass rush situations like nickel, third and longs, second and longs. I'd say between him and Ford, but then again, Defoe could come right up the middle when they're pinning out for these guys.
If Defoe doesn't get at least one sack with both of them on the fields, we got issues. If he doesn't get,
we got to get to it. Listen,
if DeForest Buckner doesn't get 2 sacks this week with both D Ford and Nick Bosa on the field, we got an issue.
We're gonna have a prediction show. We're gonna have a show dedicated to this upcoming game, and that's one of the segments I want to do is players that have to perform. So like guys that you might be worried about not performing, but they have to perform because he is definitely going to be in that category for me.
So, all right, then. I'm good. Guys, remember, Tampa, check me out.
Yeah, you guys get at Nick on Twitter. You see the handle right there, 49er Faithful 365. My man Tony is NJ Niner fan 499. Look at him. He is breaking out all the little toys here. Tony's like a kid in a candy store. He has been waiting for this season to start probably longer than the rest of us. Look at this. Everyone's breaking out their toys. And what do I have here? I have nothing with me. So,
you're in the living room.
I got this toy. How about that?
Hey, guys, if you guys want one of those shirts, look at that Stone Cold Kittle. I seen somebody copying our design. I like it.
All good. It's all good. Motivate, innovate. Let's do this, man. All right, guys. So we're going to get up out of here, man. Check out the website also, guys, www.nothingbutniners.com. That is going to be your central location for all things 49ers covered by us here at Nothing But Niners, okay? Go to the About Us page. Check out the members on here, okay? We got a couple of people in the crew. We got a little About Us page so you know who we are, get to know us a little bit more. Also, make sure you guys check out the social media pages, okay? Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are Nothing But 9ERS. Give us follows over there. Don't forget to hit us up on the Facebook and the Instagram as well. It is Nothing But Niners spelled all the way out. I'm ready to get out of here, man. Hit that like and subscribe button. We want to thank you guys for checking us out here on YouTube. If this is your first time here, you got to set an alarm, man. You got to know when we're going. This guy's got toys for every different segment I say. You got to know when we're going live, man. So make sure you hit the notification and turn the bell on there so you know exactly when we are live, all right? I want to thank everybody for checking us out here. I see some of the regulars over there. I appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys are subscribed to our guy, JD Hawk Hater TV. He's going to be going live in about 15 to 20 minutes. So make sure you guys subscribe. This 49ers community here on YouTube is growing. It is growing by the day, and we want to make sure we support each other. So you guys make sure you check him out over there too. All right. That's it for me. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
Always remain faithful.
We out of here.
Peace.